Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. My name is Liz. I am the owner of Angry Hamster Publishing, and I am running the game Afterlife Wandering Souls, The Wall of Thorns, Part 2 of 2, for this awesome group of players for the Gauntlet today. I am going to go through and make everyone introduce themselves again, even though off camera I have already made them introduce themselves. I will pick on Agatha first because you played in my last game, and that seems like a good reason to pick on you.
Cool. Hi, everyone. I'm Agatha. I'm the co-author of Hearts of Wulin, which is a game, a PBTA game of wuxia melodrama. I am also the co-host of Agents Represent, a podcast that talks about gaming and representation and magical girls, amongst other things. And I go by she/her pronouns.
All right, and then Linda.
Hi, everyone. I'm Linda. I use she, her, or they, them pronouns. I am not the co-author of Hearts of Wulin, but I wish I were. It looks really cool. Yeah, I'm a gamer and I'm here to play.
And David.
Hi, I go by pronouns he, him, or hey, you. And I am also not the co-author of Hearts of Wulin. I hear it's really great, and I hope to try it sometime. Yeah, and I'm excited to be here. This is going to be great.
Awesome. Well, we are playing session 2 of 2 of The Wall of Thorns. And because I completely forgot this last time because I was way too excited to start playing and was really loving everyone's characterizations, I'd actually just first like everyone to describe what their wanderers look like because I only did this halfway through the game last time. Basically, you all are in the Tenebris at the moment. So the Tenebris is an endless desert, as we reviewed before. It's called the Darkness, the Tenebris, but actually during the day it is scorchingly bright, even though you don't see any heavenly bodies, and at night it is pitch black. Like you can't see 5 feet above you because also there's no source of light, unless you are able to summon one, or in the area there seems to be some strange ambient light because sometimes the Tenebris is weird and it can do that. But it is the day now, and of course you are all wanderers. You're all members of a crew. Unfortunately, Quinn and Echo and Grayson, 2 other members of your crew, Harper and Delaney, well, they made a promise to someone to help escort an object from one end of the Tenebris to another, so they cannot be here today. But the 3 of you are here, and you're still part of the crew, and you kind of heard about their exploits a bit, which we'll get into in a moment. And you're all standing around and talking about it. And, well, Echo, why don't you describe yourself? Because I'm very curious.
Me too. So Echo looks roughly humanoid, but takes on the appearance of whatever object is nearby, kind of like a living mirror. Okay. And this is sort of like where I'm getting in with the shield component of this. So think of like someone who's always reflecting things around them, including light sources. So at night, if the only thing that is there is like moonlight or torchlight, it's kind of like that's what this person looks like. So if it's really bright outside, you might see like either like the sunlight figure or dark shadow, depending on how that light is handled in the environment. So humanoid speaks in a voice that has this echoey undertone. I don't know if you've watched the David Lynch Dune movie that people love or hate, like that weirding way voice is how Echo speaks. But very much reflects, asks a lot of questions, so it might be frustrating for some people who don't know Echo. Like, this is just how Echo operates, always reflecting the environment and life around it.
Awesome. That is very cool. Grayson, why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? What do you look like?
Excuse me. Okay, I'm based on my stats. No, I'm kidding. I think what I look like is I am dressed in I guess a lot of the tenebris is like desert, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I am like again kind of like my character from last time. I'm wearing very faded clothing, so it's a lot of layers. And I think it's layers upon layers of like faded, maybe like gray and like blue, like powder blue, because it used to be a darker color, but it's sun bleached, even though there's no sun. Uh, and and I think there's like also a scarf covering my face, so it's like generally pretty obscured. And the big identifying factor is twin swords because I see sword as mine. I would love to have twin swords.
Fine.
Yeah, and I would like them to be like cobalt blue.
Okay. But only because that sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Quinn, tell us about yourself.
All right. Quinn is I'm gonna say female bodied. Foreign looking like that in general. I'm gonna say that they are young, probably like late 20s, early 30s. I think that they're dressed in a like a an old World War II like Russian military uniform with like some medals and stuff. They have curly, mousy brown hair that's like cropped. They have a round face. They look very pale. I want to say they look pale. They have like gray eyes and like over this uniform, they're wearing like a really big, not like a tarp, but like a very long cloak kind of thing. Sort of like it looks a lot like I think it actually is. It's a blanket. It's like one of the old blankets that they gave when you were trying to keep warm in Siberia. A cape blanket cape. That you would use to keep warm in like the harsh winters of Siberia. And they also have a like a sniper rifle. That's them. And the Quid is definitely like if you look up the old images of like Ludmila Palachenkov, like the very, very skilled female snipers of World War II from Russia. That's exactly what I'm imagining Quinn looked like.
Awesome. So they look badass. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, they look gruff. They look like they've seen shit, you know? That's really what they are.
Awesome. Well, you all are in the Tenebris at the moment, and you're kind of thinking back actually on the last limbo you were in, because that's the reason that you weren't able to join your two crewmates. Your crewmates are people who actually traveled the boat with you from the land of the living to the dead, and then you all get off the boat, and then your crew. You weren't able to join your other crewmates because you were all in a different limbo, and you are reminiscing on kind of that memory with one another, and specifically kind of at the point where everything really went wrong for you in this limbo. And you're remembering that you didn't even know the name of the limbo. You actually just found this giant stone moon door, it seemed like, in the middle of the Tenebris. And one of you thought it would be a good idea to just walk right through it as you were going home to meet your other two crew members. Who was that and why?
I feel like it was Echo.
Oh, was it Echo?
I don't know.
I did see Quinn like,
Not me. It was Quinn is not touching that.
No.
Yeah, totally.
All right, Echo, why did you walk through that moon door?
Well, I feel like this is a no-brainer to see what was on the other side.
Oh, okay. Fair. Fair. So that's what you told your crew members when they all followed after you?
Curiosity is the greatest trait. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair?
I think I'm like, oh, okay. I guess that's how that works.
So Grayson just walked right after, like, cool.
Yeah, I stride in after it.
Which leaves Quinn standing outside, just like staring, just like, am I the only one thinking about the consequences here? And then like slowly just not wanting to be alone in the Tenebrous like follows. It's just like, well, shit.
And then you walk through.
Yeah,
right.
they have to.
Right.
What else are they gonna do?
So you all, you get into the Tenebrous, you meet the inhabitants of this limbo. So every limbo is different. A limbo could be inhabited by skeletons. It could be a perfect 1950s American suburb. But every limbo that you go into is slightly wonderful for you as wanderers because you can taste the promise of memories. You know that within this space, whether it's because it's closer to Earth, maybe, or it's closer to your final resting place, you can taste the promise of memories if you search and you look in these places. So you continue and you go through more and more and more. And this particular limbo, it is ever dark. And there's a giant moon. It's about 20 times larger or even 100 times larger, you can't even guess, than it is on Earth. And it's always kind of in this state of permanent evening where the moon is very high in the sky. And what you're particularly reminiscing about is when you all kind of wandered through this jungle, this dark jungle with all these strange sounds and lights after meeting a couple of people, and you come to a clearing and you come to that hill, a hill in the clearing of a jungle. And you remember something about the reason you were there. So I am going to, well, since Agatha was so kind to volunteer Echo, I'm going to talk to you, Agatha or Grayson. You reminisce a little bit. Who was the ruler of this limbo?
Oh, so I've been here before then.
Well, you're kind of reminiscing about your travels, and yeah, you've met the ruler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a jungle, huh? Let's see. Yeah, I think the ruler of this limbo is oh, my first thing was a hippo, but I don't know if that's too comedic. Maybe it shouldn't be a hippo. I think we all refer to her by her like her highness or something like that. Maybe she's like I think so far she has materialized in front of people in hippo form, but that doesn't mean that that's her actual form, and there's many whispers about like what she actually could be. But yeah, there's no other hippo to be found in this limbo except for her. And there's also whispers of like whatever form she takes next, like you can't be that or there anymore.
Ooh, okay. So she's a bit of a strict leader. I mean, I don't think hippos are comedic simply because of the fact that ever since I've heard how many people they killed, they've terrified me. So
yeah, hippos are really scary.
I mean, and then like a magical shape-shifting hippo. I mean, like, yeah, that's good. That's terrifying enough. Thank you. Oh yeah, is there does the hippo take any particular color or shape or anything like that? Is it albino or
Oh, yeah, that's very cool. I feel like because jungles are usually pretty dark, I think she actually is always silvery.
ooh, that's pretty. Silver hippo. All right. Now, so Grayson, reminisces about Her Highness's form, and Echo, you kind of chime in at this moment as you're all standing there discussing with one another, because you yeah you kind of start talking. It's really strange. Something got stolen from Her Highness. What was stolen from her?
So this place is called Everdark. Is that correct?
I like that. I haven't
Uh,
named it yet, but we
okay.
have just named it.
Uh, the her diadem,
Okay.
which contained the power of maybe like the sun. So there's never going to be any sunlight here.
Oh.
Like maybe
Okay,
this
so
place,
she controlled that.
yeah, like maybe this place wasn't always called Everdark, but now it is.
Okay. And finally, I really like that. Did it need anything special to activate, or was it just whoop whoop
Yeah. I think it needs a song.
a song? Okay. And is this song anyone can sing, or is it kind of song that only Her Highness can sing?
I don't think we know yet. I think there's
No.
probably legends of different legends depending who you talk to. Like only animals can sing it, or a young child, or whatever. There's just variations. No one knows the true song yet.
Okay. All right. I like that. And finally, the awesome Quinn. Quinn, you chime in at this point as you all muse about what actually could activate the diadem, and yeah, you chime in and tell a little bit about who stole this diadem, because you agreed with Her Highness that you would get it back. Who stole it? Because you tracked them to the top of that hill.
Prince Tiger stole it.
Tell me more about Prince Tiger.
I think Prince Tiger kind of feels like he should be in charge of this kingdom. But Her Highness has been around for a really long time and is established and is just like a pretty fair ruler. But sometimes, when fair rulers, things get lazy, like things are not super great around here. It's fair, but it's not great. And Prince Tiger thinks that he could be a better king.
I mean, does Prince Tiger have a platform? Not to get too political, but
I don't
what
know.
exactly does Prince Tiger want to change besides for things are just okay and they could be awesome? Or is he
Yeah,
one of those people who just keeps repeating that and doesn't actually have a platform?
I really don't know. I think
Or
Prince
does
Tiger
he-
probably has like a really good propaganda machine behind him.
Okay.
But I don't necessarily think that I don't know if he has like an actual idea of what's going bad, but I think he can see maybe at the edge of the world something is coming and nothing's being
Okay.
done about it.
And something is coming at the edge of the world. What was do you even know? Did he have a motivation for stealing this diadem?
Yeah, um I think that the people really see the diadem as like the the thing that denotes a ruler more than anything else. And like they don't have a throne, they don't have a palace. If you want to go see Her Highness, like you go and you wait in the mud at the river just like everyone else. And like the diadem's really the marker. more so than anything else. I also think that Prince Tiger is probably actually like has the form of a man, like he looks like a man, but he's a tiger in the way that gender is fake. He's a tiger. He just looks like a man.
Cool. I was thinking that too. That's great. So I'm glad you went with that. So you all remember standing at the base of the hill, and Prince Tiger is at the top of the hill, of course. And you see him in the moonlight. He's kind of wreathed in this moonlight, and his skin gets this kind of golden glow. He has this kind of like very dark skin, but it glows golden in the moonlight. And it's almost as if you see kind of his tiger nature within him. You know what I mean? Like you see almost as if there's a shadow in his aura of kind of this beast around him. And he's holding up the diadem, and all around him, you see his followers. And again, it's the same thing that you see a lot of human forms. You see people in various stages of clothing, and they're all kneeling and chanting his name. But around each of these people, you see a beast. You see a person. You see an animal. And it's almost as if under this kind of bright moonlight, they can't hide what they truly are. Everyone can see it. And no one really seems bothered by it. It seems very normal. What they seem bothered by is the fact that Prince Tiger has gotten this diadem from Her Highness. And he says that he is going to use it. And this is the moment where you all remember that Her Highness was very much not happy that someone had her diadem, and she very much wants it back before it's being used. So what do you all do? I mean, this is time to act as you're reminiscing.
Yeah, I think I try to like walk up like around these people who are doing their usual moon worship thing. I'm not from here, so I don't understand. But I like go up and I'm like, so like, what do you want to do with this diadem?
Okay, so basically, as everyone's kind of chanting and worshiping, you just walk up like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah.
Awesome. I am gonna ask for a check from that because I think that you need to make yourself. I mean, like, how do you do this? Like, you need to make a presence of yourself because it's so hectic at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, and you need to get to Prince Tiger and talk to him. Are you just like nonchalantly like moseying through everyone and just like tapping him on the shoulder?
Yeah, I think I guess I'm looking at my talents and right, it's the same as as Harper from last time. So, what I'm gonna do actually is, because I have Shadow Self, I might as well just I think maybe like, because it's nighttime, people are doing moon worship. I disappear into the shadows to kind of like get out of, because I don't know if Prince Tiger has like guards or whatever who might get in my way, and I got this question that needs to be answered, and I'm sure Echo would want that answered as well. Echo has a lot of questions. So I'm gonna kind of fade into the shadows and kind of like appear beside him is what I wish to do, and be like, hey, so what do you want to do with this diadem?
All right. Yeah, please make me a check. I mean, I think it's probably the sneaking, right? Like,
Yeah.
or so that's probably dexterity plus body, and you can get a +1 from your shadow self, right?
Cool.
So
Yeah.
4 dice, difficulty 2.
Okay. And I'm supposed to get, is it evens or is it above 3? Is it like 4 to 6?
4 to 6.
Sorry. Great. Okay, so I have 3 successes.
Okay, so you do exactly what you say. You slip into the shadows. You could pop up next to and just be like, so, what are you gonna do with that?
Yeah, and I would love it if it's like, yeah, because I guess you can't really see any part of me except for my eyes. But I would love for when I appear to be kind of like appearing like I'm leaning on something. Like I don't know, that's how I'm imagining. And I'm just like, hey, so diadem, eh?
All right, as he's holding it up and kind of the crowd is reaching its kind of the height of their cheering and their chanting, and he has it up, you just kind of pop up in front of him, leaning on a shadow, I would argue. Just like, leaning on your form that was once a shadow, asking him a question. And he looks down at you. And the first thing that happens, he's not even able to control himself, because kind of this was his moment. He just snarls at you. And you hear echoing through your mind kind of like this tiger snarl, and it kind of shakes you and like this
Yeah.
kind
Yeah, I'm like, whoa.
of and he says, who are you?
Ah. And I kind of like look over at my other two group mates. I'm like, I don't know how to answer this question.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
So I feel like Echo, watching this, would be walking, around like through the followers and looking kind of like a humanoid figure made out of moonlight. And then as it gets closer and closer, basically looks like a mirrored reflection of the tiger prints.
Okay.
And then I feel like, given that I have this talent, heal ailments of the soul, I was thinking that this would affect other people as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
And
so
then
your talent
putting,
affects other people. Yeah.
yeah, and then sort of like putting like a kind of like as if he were to do it, but obviously at the mirrored, putting a hand on his shoulder and was, it's okay.
Okay, so basically your kind of ailments of the soul are kind of like emotions, I would argue, like emotions
Yeah.
you don't want to feel.
So what I feel like Echo is attempting to do is wants to help Tiger Prince to resolve their emotional strife, like whether it's a feeling of being lack of respect or ego or something like that, like deal with the inner conflict that is driving this to steal the diadem.
Okay. All right. Well, so you want to soothe. I mean, I would argue, Echo, that this is probably an empathy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get a +1 from your talent, and you have soul 1, so that's 2.
Mm-hmm.
Difficulty, I'll say, is 2 because, well, you just want him to calm down, but then in a profound way. You said it in a very profound way, but that's the essence.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead, roll me some dice.
Okay. And then can I use generosity?
You can, but I would check your roll first to see if you.
Okay. Alrighty.
You might not need to.
Sure. Let's do that. So I got a 5 and a 3.
A 5 and a 3. Okay, so that means like if you want to make it so right now, like your action would fail and things would get worse, but you can spend a point of generosity from your pool to for things to for you to succeed basically. So then you would have 2 generosity.
Yeah, I would love to do that.
Cool. All right, so you tell him everything is going to be all right. You put a hand on the shoulder. So
I don't think I phrased it as that. I feel like I basically feel like it's more like we are with you, and we want to help you through this difficult process. I feel like I'm turning to a therapist.
No, No, that's all right. So you again, like, another person who is not exactly from his limbo kind of pops up from behind him, and you say this to him, and he as he's because he's still holding up the diadem, he holds it down for a moment. He kind of drops it, and he looks at you. He kind of turns to your hand, and then he looks you in the eyes, and you see, actually, just for a flash, for a moment, you kind of see the flash of cat eyes through his normal mortal eyes, and he says, "Yes, it will be all right. I'm going to bring back the sun, and then we will all have our true forms."
I'm waiting for a third companion to just pull out the sniper rifle
Yeah.
and shoot him. Like these are the noble delay tactics, and then boom.
That is so horrible.
I'm not saying that's
What
gonna happen.
do?
I just in one version of the story, I could just kind of see that happen.
I mean, that's fair, though.
I love definitely that we're both like, I'm sure that our companion
de-escalate this.
Our companion will solve this issue because
Oh my
we're just here to
God.
ask questions.
Wow! First, I was pressured into a weird ghost machine, and now I'm just being pressured to blow people's heads off. I don't understand.
No. I didn't see blow the head off. I just said shoot. That can be a very targeted thing. You can use your ghost tank if you want.
You can shoot an emotion into him.
Into his
Or
heart?
you can shoot a bullet into his brain.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Well, people are always saying that idea blew my brain. Right?
Oh, yikes. Well, speaking of our resident sniper, Quinn is sort of like blending into the crowd, like walking around. I think that they're really trying to figure out like what the people really want. And I think that they are looking for a vantage point because it's a hell.
Okay, well, I mean, I think you're a skilled sniper, I would argue. I think we have established it, or at least, like, by the way you have dressed, you have assumed yourself a skilled sniper. So yeah, you're able to, I mean, basically, because it's like a hill surrounded by jungle and a clearing, like, you could probably get up into one of the trees for a vantage point. I honestly don't know a lot about guns and angles, but that sounds like it would be in a movie, so yes.
Yeah, you could do that. Depends on what kind of blind you want to set up. Oh boy, I was raising stuff. Yeah, so I think Quinn does that. Quinn sort of like slides out of the way and like climbs up a tree and is sort of watching their friends like do this, and they can very clearly see that Prince Tiger is like not having it. And I think that they would like to. I don't think that they really want to like kill him immediately, because that would probably start like a mob or a riot of some kind. Not immediately. Look, yet. Doesn't want to kill him yet. Rude. So I think that they really want to maybe take away some kind of power from him in a very like distinct, clear way. And I think that that's if Quinn could shoot like his hand, I think I might have seen that on the shooting like his hand, like that holds like the diadem in a way, or something that like takes away his power.
Okay, so like takes his power in a metaphorical sense, or a takes his power in the literal sense?
In a way that people would be able to recognize, whether that's metaphorically taking away the diadem or metaphorically taking away something else, but something that sort of clearly makes Prince Tiger unfit to rule.
Okay. Well, you think, like, from what you've gauged, it's a political situation here. So, like, if you guys eventually get the diadem away from him, that may convince people, but his followers right now seem pretty convinced. So you're probably going to have to do something like what, shoot the tiger out of him like we've heard,
Oh
or,
my gosh.
but then
yeah, let's shoot the tiger out of him.
Okay, so what are we saying actually that your bow does then?
I think that this is a rifle that I think, taking sort of inspiration from like hollow point bullets here. It's a rifle that makes you hollow.
Okay. Ooh. Okay. Well, Quinn, you're proving to be the most deadly member of the crew so far. So Quinn, why don't you try the shooty? Let's see how you're gonna do this, Quinn. Dearest Quinn, how are you going to shoot the tiger? I would argue that it's just I think awareness. You know what I mean? Like you're snipering, right? Like so awareness is like your perception, your space sense, and then you're using your approach, and you kind of your bow makes people hollow. So that's 3 dice, difficulty 2.
Okay. All right, let's see if I know how to use this. I'll be green. Hey.
You success?
Yeah, a 4, a 4, and a 5.
Sweet. In that case, you take aim and you fire one of these bullets into Prince Tiger. And what you all see happen is he's standing there for a moment and he's kind of looking at the rest of you, and like he's looking at Echo, and he's convinced, he's like, of course we're going to bring back the sun, we're going to get our forms. And you guys hear a shot ring out across the hill, and you see Prince Tiger. He's standing there, and for a moment you see outlined in the moonlight kind of a shadow, this golden shadow, rip from him and kind of be forced backwards with the momentum. And it's the shadow of a giant tiger. And it lets out this kind of pained roar and scream, and then it dissipates. And Prince Tiger stands there for a moment, and then you just see a man standing there. He's lost that glow about him. Echo, when you look into you're still looking into his eyes, and he looks utterly confused. He's standing there just completely shocked. You don't see that glint of a tiger anymore. You don't hear that snarl in his voice. You don't feel that edge. He just seems empty. And he stands there, and his hands start to tremble, and he drops the diadem. And the moment that he drops the diadem, all the people around him start howling and screaming in anger.
I would like to catch the diadem.
Okay, you catch the diadem. You may do that for free. You catch the diadem, but indeed you have caught the diadem, and something strange happened to their leader, Prince Tiger. Like, these followers of Prince Tiger, something happened to him. And there's these 2 strangers right in front of them who just caught the diadem that Prince Tiger very much wanted. So they all turn to the 2 of you because they don't know where the shot came from. They probably don't even know what a gun looks like.
Yeah.
So I feel like Echo, still taking on the mirrored form, turns to the followers and, acting like Prince Tiger, says, "The will of our world has spoken. I was in error. The diadem, I am not worthy to wield it."
And I think I have this expression on my face, like, and I'm like, Echo, not to interrupt this moment, but do you think maybe this is not a bad ceremony? And that maybe we should just go through with it?
And that you all must find your own way. Trying very unsuccessfully to disperse the mob from this horrible incident that we created.
Do you think maybe we could just try to go through with it, though?
I don't know the ritual.
I lean over instead to Prince Tiger. I'm like, yo, I don't know what happened, but you don't look like you're a tiger anymore. So, do you have like a second command?
Okay, all right.
Quinn had shimmy down the tree, and it was just sort of like watching this, like, and like, what are you guys doing? just like, oh god.
So
I think
So Echo is probably failing, trying to like get the mob to disperse, just to get the followers to like not act on their confusion and pain right now.
Yeah.
Or what's happening.
But by claiming to be Prince Tiger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's the only thing, because feeling like the intensity is starting to diminish, but still feeling like Prince Tiger momentarily.
Mm-hmm.
And then not knowing did we plan for the shooting as like option? Like, I feel like Echo's just not sure what's going on. So just totally winging it out of its league.
Okay. Sorry, can you all give me 1 second? I just want to turn on the light real quick because it's very dark in here. Sorry, one moment.
It's ever dark.
Quinn has shimmied off her tree and is just staring at you guys like, please leave. Please get off the hill.
Okay.
Please fucking leave.
Right. I would like a check from you. I will address everything kind of like, I will address what you have said, Grayson, at Quinn, and I will then Echo, and Quinn, I will tell you what you get down the tree to see. But first I would actually like a check from Echo. This is definitely an upped difficulty.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it's a difficulty 3 for now. Just because there's confusion right now. So you can definitely play on this person isn't Prince Tiger, but he's saying he is, and what's happening, and maybe
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. I hope I totally fail, because
All right.
I got a 4 and a 1 on my roll. Okay. I'm not gonna spend any more of my resource because like Echo's definitely flailing around here.
Cool. Yeah, Echo, normally I would say mark experience, but you can't, so no. I will keep an experience point for myself. And what happens is as Echo is making this speech to the followers and claiming to be Prince Tiger, Grayson, you're kind of leaning over like, yeah, maybe we go through with this and second in command, maybe. I don't know. Prince Tiger kind of turns to you, Grayson, with this blank look in his eyes. And he doesn't know what to say. He just looks down at the diadem, basically. And when he speaks, you kind of hear just a whimper from him, as if he's not even able to form words without this thing that was within him almost. And Echo, and as you want to kind of react to that, maybe in some way, you see that Echo has, kind of pronounced that he is it is Prince Tiger, and it is, things people should do what they want to do. And the crowd thinks that is a very good idea, Echo. And basically 2 of the creatures in the crowd grab you. One of them is, you think you feel like you feel it grasping you, and for a moment you kind of see the hulking form of like a gorilla. And the other one on the other side grabs you, and you think it's another type of like big cat, like a large cat. And you hear someone kind of roaring from the other side as they do, like, get the outsiders, basically. And they've all grabbed you, and now they've started to circle in on you, Echo. And this is what you see. This is what you see, Quinn, when you've like shimmied down the tree and like, why aren't they running? What are they doing? I'm gonna first go to Grayson because you're actually within the thick of it, and then I'll move to you, Quinn.
Okay, so is the Prince Tiger the Prince Tiger not able to have a conversation with me right now?
Well, he's whimpered basically, and then all of that, like everything, like kind of like then like kind of the wave closed in on Quinn. Oh, sorry, on Echo.
Yeah.
And so like Prince Tiger actually, like, you know, a couple of his followers just push past him, and they run up to Echo, and they're surrounding him, and you see them all snarling and growling. And Prince Tiger is just still like he lets himself be pushed. And this is a person who would never let himself be pushed. And he's still standing there just staring at you and the diadem.
Okay. I kind of like, okay, I'm still holding the diadem. I grab him by his shoulders so that he can like face me, and I'm like, "What is the ritual? Tell me the ritual so I can do it."
Okay.
Now.
He looks at you and he's song. Yeah, sing the song.
Sing it now.
I can't.
Jeez. And I think I'm trying to think of a song for me to sing.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, what type of song are you thinking of singing? Is it a serious song? Is it a love song? Is it Here Comes the Sun? Da-da-da-da? I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of like a lullaby, a childhood lullaby, because those are very simple to sing and kind of short. So
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you need to perform this song in some way, right?
yeah, totally.
In a convincing, performy, activating of a diademy type way.
Yeah.
I would argue that this is creativity, unless you're trying to sell me on something else. Which,
nope, that sounds about right.
Cool. Sounds good. So you have soul 1, creativity 1. That's what you got.
Yep. What's the difficulty?
I'm gonna say it's 2.
Okay. All right. Cool. Oh, did someone clear the room? That's very nice. Okay, I have 1 success, and I'm definitely 100% gonna spend 1 generosity to get it up to 2 successes. And I'm like cupping my hands around my mouth and then just like bellowing out this song.
Okay, so like with the force of a, are you trying to like do it with like the force of a tiger type thing?
As much as I can. I don't know if I'm immediately like, oh, think like a tiger, but I'm like, it's like in my hand is like the diadem, and I'm just like yelling this. It's the visuals are terrible.
Okay, so you start screaming out a lullaby, like "This Little Light of Mine" or something, like "This Little Light of Mine," over the screaming and the gnashing. And at first you don't think it's working. At first you're basically just adding to the utter chaos around you. I mean, like, let's just go with that. Like, just utter chaos. but the sheer will within you, like the need for this to happen, is what activates the diadem. The thing is that you think you need to continue singing for a bit. This isn't a one song activation. There was a ritual happening. But you feel it begin to warm in your hand. The diadem is warming at this point. At this point, the group has fully surrounded your friend Echo, and I believe I saw someone with an idea. Grayson, you see even more chaos happening, right?
Oh, Quinn, yes.
Sorry. Quinn. Yes, sorry. These names, and then everyone else's names, and Quinn.
So a quick Google search has revealed a song to me that was used in propaganda in the 1930s called the March of the Soviet Tankmen. So I think what's going to happen is Quinn is getting real tired of this mob. They don't do well in big crowds. So I think that I'd like to bust out that ghost tank.
Okay.
I think that Quinn wants to use their talent because for the people listening, the talent for Quinn is Machine, which is summon, transportation, unique, and mighty. And yeah, I think that. Can you explain really quickly before I do this? Under death marks on this character sheet, it says binding ropes reduce the challenge you face by 1 when you need to escape from something.
Mm-hmm.
Would I be able to use that in the situation where I'm like trying to use my tank to sort of escape the mob with my friends?
Well, I mean, like the thing is that like I would argue that you're not in the mob right now. You know what I mean? Like because you're driving up to the mob. Like if anything, you're not trying to escape. You're trying to get into the thick of things.
Cool.
So I don't think it would work in this situation.
All right, then I think. All right, that answers that. Then I think Quinn would start humming the March of the Soviet Tankmen under her breath. It is a very traditional like Russian Soviet marching song, and that would sort of activate her machine, which is a tank that can go through walls, and just try and like go get her friends.
Okay. So you get in your tank. You drive your tank up the hill. So as everyone is about to tear Echo apart, screaming, yelling, growling, and Quinn is screaming at the top of their lungs.
Grayson.
Grayson, darn it, is screaming at the top of their lungs. You drive up with a freaking tank, like up the hill.
Oh yeah.
You get to the edge of the group. What are you doing now?
I pop out of the tank.
Yes.
And I'm just like staring down at these guys, and I'm like, you had one job. One job. Get in the tank.
Oh, it's that easy, huh?
Yeah, I mean they are not bothering with the mob. They are not bothering with Prince Tiger. I think that if Quinn were a person who had gotten out of the war in a slightly kinder or more gentle way, they would feel empathy. But I think that Quinn has just seen too much and like been through too much, and they like don't have the capacity in them to feel compassion anymore. Like they're very like the hollowness that they like use with their bow is a very like true expression of like who they are as well. So they're very much just like up there, just like direct, like kind of looking at Echo being weird and like a weird kind of tiger person maybe, and Grayson like singing of "Come All You Faithful," and Quinn is just like, "Get in my tank."
Okay.
Please.
Well, I think for some of us it's easier said than done. I mean, Echo, you heard the orders. I mean, just get out of that mob and get in the tank, man.
Yeah. So I feel like Echo is everyone that's holding on to a piece of Echo. There's a bit of that reflection going on and feeling a connection to each one of those persons. So like being like sort of divided in attention as well as physically is really overwhelming Echo at this point. Uh, Wanting to ask, wanting to know, like just wanting to be a part of whoever's in contact with Echo is just like boom, just too much. So I don't really know. I don't even know that Echo can hear Quinn calling out. I mean, there's this giant noise of a tank and whatnot. But I think the attention is just divided amongst the mob.
Okay. Are you going to do anything, Echo? Are you gonna kind of let the mob?
Well, I feel like what naturally would want to do is attempt to heal everyone touching Echo. Just kind of like give
Okay.
to resolve their underlying issues.
Okay. Well, let's start with the two people grabbing you. Because yeah, they're the ones really touching you right now, besides for the people who just want to tear you apart.
Yeah.
And I would say if you wanna kind of heal the elements of both their souls, like kind of like alter their emotions as we've established in some way, it's going to be a +1 difficulty because you're trying to affect two people.
Okay.
So 3.
All right. Do I get 3 dice?
Let's see. Sorry, I'm switching back to the thing. So we're probably empathy, right? Then we're using your soul, so that's 1, and then you have elements of the soul, that's 2 dice.
Okay.
So you have 2 dice to roll, and you need 3 successes. You can, of course, spend points in your concept pool.
Sure.
Oh, and my death mark is that once per session I can give a crewmate +1 to one of their concept pools. So if you need another dice, yeah.
Do I wait to add that, or do I roll that in now?
No, you wait, because your concept points are automatic successes, so you always want to wait till after you roll, because you might not even need to use them. Well, you will here, but
yeah, I will definitely use up the rest of my points for that to get 2 successes, and then is the one from my friend here an automatic success or just another die roll?
Yeah, they give you a point in one of your concept pools, right, Agatha? Yeah, no, in that case, that means that you have generosity 3 again, because you had used 1 point, so it's up to 3, so you can just spend all 3 points.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do that.
Okay, cool. Okay, so you kind of use the last of your reserves to heal the anger in these two people, I guess, I would argue. I mean, they're both, because you want to heal them in some way. The thing is that these two people aren't really. Oh, actually, no, I have a cool idea. Right. So I'm going to say, because you genuinely want to help these two people, right? And your whole talent basically is about kind of healing the emotions within people. So rather than you feel your talent do something very strange. Normally it kind of floods into people. But this time it focuses itself. And you feel a song coming from your lips. What does your character sing?
Well, I feel like given Echo's sort of existence, probably like the sounds of nature.
Okay.
So like the birds, the animals, like the noises of the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, like the jungle would be
Okay.
singing out. So yeah, all of the different animals and the insects and everything.
All right.
Yeah, even the creeks or anything, definitely.
You let out that sound, and the two people seem to be somewhat appeased because you notice this first, Grayson, is that the diadem in your hands gets brighter, and you look up at the horizon, and you actually see it's starting to become twilight. Um, no, wait, is that? Yes, that is the word. Between day and night, it starts to become twilight. So the sky begins to get lighter, and you feel Grayson as though like it needs one more push just to kind of push up the sun. And indeed, you see that this does Echo. This does help the two people holding you because they actually release you, and they kind of look up over. They all stop for a moment, all the beasts, and they all kind of turn to the horizon, and they're all calmed for a moment, and you can see the outline of their forms, their bestial forms, getting more concrete. um Grayson, what would you like to do?
I jeez, I get a break, I guess, from my singing. And I turn to Prince Tiger and I'm like, sing your song.
Are you hyping Prince Tiger right now?
Yes, I am. I'm his hype woman.
Okay, cool. Cool. I think it's charisma. I would argue that's a charisma check, right?
Oh, jeez. Why do I always pick low soul characters and then go for that direction?
Do it. Do it.
Yeah. Yes, of course. I will roll for it. Ah. Oh, that's 2 fails.
Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think I can. Cause because even if I were to spend my generosity, that's
2 success. How much generosity do you have left?
I have 1 because I already
Ooh,
spent
one.
1.
Okay. No.
Oh, can I like retroactively use my sword? Because I really want him to sing the song.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sorry. You turn to Prince Tiger and you tell him to sing his song. It's like sing the song, but he just looks at you, um, and he says the song is gone, and he has like this heartbreaking look in his eyes, and I'm gonna say, Grayson, that you lose a point of will because this person has truly lost. Yeah, he's lost something. He's lost his will to continue to do what he
Oh
needed to
man.
do for his followers. So take
I
the point
feel
instead.
so bad. I feel like we are literally the oppressors. Like we are a bunch of people helping the imperialists. Okay, I have 1 will left. So, guys.
Cool. Quinn.
Quinn is kind of like watching all this happen, and they look at the sun and they look back at the diadem, and they're just like, this is ridiculous. Like, you guys are all like being very sentimental right now, and I don't approve of any of this emotion. So I think Quinn gets
Can
out of
I
the tank.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Can there be a moment but before you do anything where I like it's like the defeat that Prince Tiger feels kind of like seeps into me, and then I look up and in this in the glow of this possible sun, I look up at you, Quinn, and I feel like you can't actually hear what I'm saying because maybe it's still kind of loud, but you can read my lips, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm like, just sing a song, Quinn.
And Quinn is just like kind of staring back and is just like, they have a moon. They don't need a sun. Maybe there's another place that needs it more. And like holds their hand out for Grayson to take.
Okay, so we can hear each other.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say like we can communicate, right? Why not?
You turn off the tank. Everyone's quiet, right? It's a moment of stillness.
Okay, I will grab your hand and pull you so that you're closer to me. And I'm gonna stare into your eyes, Quinn, and I'm gonna say, "Sing me a fucking song, Quinn."
Okay. I think Quinn is probably just like Quinn kind of like looks at the sun and like looks back at Grayson. And is Grayson holding the diadem?
I am.
Okay. Quinn will take the diadem. And I'm gonna say like they feel like a spark of like weird empathy connection thing. Because Quinn has sort of learned how to like shut that off in a really very clear way. But something about this like gets to her, and they start humming the Soviet March of the Tankmen.
Okay. Well, I think Quinn, despite what Quinn may want, I think this is probably an empathy roll, isn't it? Isn't it, Quinn? You use that empathy and you use it good. Roll me some dice, please.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I think it's one of those things where when they do use it, they mean it. So it doesn't happen a lot. So I have a 1 in empathy and a 2 in soul. So that means I get 3.
Mm-hmm.
3d6. Okay. Yikes.
Ooh.
Whoa. Oh my god.
Well, do you want to use your generosity, perhaps, Quinn, at this point? Or
I'm
no?
gonna say I don't.
Okay.
Again, I think it's because it's one of those things where if Quinn had like Quinn starts humming, right? And maybe the diadem like gets a little warm, but then like it immediately gets cold again. And Quinn just feels really bad about it. And it's like really like yeah, like it affects her, like or affects them. Like they really like they did try. They did try and now it's not working and they feel like really hurt about it. So they immediately just like push it back to Grayson and grab Grayson's arm and like try and pull them up. And it's just like we're leaving, okay? Didn't work. No, okay, no.
Could I say this is the perfect time for something that we haven't explored in these live games yet, but for something called a break. So basically, what a break is in Afterlife is when a character experiences a memory from their past life. And normally, out of character, this is an awesome thing because you get a new death mark and all these other things, which we're not going to get into. But in character, it can be slightly traumatic. And I would argue, Quinn, that at this very moment that you disappoint Grayson like this would probably be a moment that if you would call a break for your character. I would argue.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Yeah. I think it's something where like Quinn did try to do something that they usually like keep very like deep down, and they like tried to have a connection and it failed. That's hurtful.
All right. So I think to take this a little more personal, everything kind of closes in on you at the moment as you're basically trying to pull Grayson up onto the tank. And as you're reaching your hand out, you see a photo being placed in the hand. And you look up and you see that you are surrounded by your fellow soldiers. And one of your colleagues, Irina, and she is passing you a photo of her son. And she is telling you how much she misses him and how much she hopes to be back soon. She's really having some problems. She believes in what she's doing, but she just doesn't want to be away from home anymore. She is afraid for her life. She is starting to feel like what she's doing isn't justifying her being away from her family. And she is really struggling. And she just looks up at you. And you see that she wants, she wants a reply. She's trying to connect with you. What do you do?
Oh man, I think that this is kind of something where it's basically exactly what happened is where like I think Quinn has been very much a cog in the machine for a very long time and is not immune to propaganda. And I think that they take the photo and like they look at it and they recognize that there's like love and family and warmth there, and they give it back, and instead they hand Irina a magazine of bullets, of hollow point bullets, and they're just like, duty is your family now.
All right. Irina, she just looks at you, and she has this broken look in her eyes. She really needed something for you, and very quietly, just doing what she needs to do because that's what you've told her. She takes the magazine, and she very quietly like loads it into her rifle, and that's where the memory kind of fades away from you. Back to the scene at hand. You notice this happening. Agatha, Grayson, you know the look of someone having a break. They kind of go catatonic for a moment and you don't know how long this is going to last. So you know that this is happening. But a person who maybe doesn't fully percept what is happening at this moment is Echo. Echo, you have started kind of making the call of nature. Wait, that's peeing. No, that's answering the call of nature. You have started singing the call of nature, which is completely different than peeing. And you
It's all natural.
It's all natural, really. So, what are you doing? You see the twilight like kind of
So
it's teetering now. I mean, it's shaking.
Yeah. I feel like because Echo is pretty much given what Echo can give, like the emotions and whatnot are filtering in now, and be like taking on some of the feelings of these people. And I want to make sure that Linda is okay with this too. I feel like seeing this tank here, this mechanized aberration, we've been talking about colonialism and whatnot in the background, is like an affront to what we're trying to do here, which is resolve this strife. So I feel like Echo, sort of acting emotionally in response to the crowd, would actually like almost like Hulk-like, like reflect and become almost tank-like, and then just boom.
Punch.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I see. I don't know if that works in this system or anything, or if Linda's okay with that.
I think it's gonna be fine.
The thing is that you can't punch away someone's. I'm trying to think. Yeah, no, I don't know a way you could punch away someone's talent. But argue that like, if we want to get into this, you could punch Quinn to try to get them to drop their talent. That's the only thing I could argue at this moment.
Or are you just trying to push them away from
Yeah.
It's not to just, it's like to get it out of here. So like I feel like if this were like a movie, because that's how I think, like punch the tank, then that impact would jostle Quinn. It's not, and mostly to get to push it away from what's going on here.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your shield a bit, because we haven't defined your approach, right? So your shield actually allows you to kind of change shape, right? Is that kind of how it reflects and changes shape?
Yeah, I feel like Echo takes on what's being reflected.
What's being reflected by the shield.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yes, you could do it theoretically. I just think to have the strength to punch a tank, it's going to take a lot of successes, right? To push it away, like at least 4 successes, I would argue, because you're trying to punch a tank. And we've established that it's actually just a giant tank that can move through walls, so it's not a small thing.
Right. So yeah, I'm thinking metaphysically, like magical, like yeah. So like while reflected in the tank takes on some tank-like attributes.
Yeah. So I would argue that like having the shield allows you to do that, to reflect that back. So like it's within the realm of possibilities for you, but it's still very difficult.
Yeah.
Because so you get a +1 from the shield.
Okay.
You have a body 1. I would argue this is strength because you're pushing away. So it's a dice pool of 4. I would still say 4 successes because it's a tank.
All right.
It's a tank.
It's a tank. Get to fight a tank.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. 1, 2, 4. All right. Let's do this. Let me clear this stuff. All right. How often do you get to punch a tank?
I mean, true. Well, in your crew, maybe like every week.
I got 2 successes.
Okay.
And I think I will spend 2 of my ferocity to succeed.
Okay. So I want you to narrate. What does this look like? Narrate this for me.
I feel like Echo is finally kind of like no longer in threat of being torn apart by the mad crowd, and is sort of taken on some of that like frenzy, that like angst, like it had to go somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we are these outsiders and like the targets of this anger. So I feel like Echo just sees the tank, sees it as an outsider, doesn't belong here. We don't belong here. We need to go. And just sort of like kind of like Hulk, like just charges over, and you see like from the audience perspective, as if you're like kind of in front of the tank, like the reflection change from these animal people to like you just see like tank surface over, and just boom, and just sort of like pushes the tank. I don't even know how far, but just more like an emotional outburst than meant to destroy. Like just go away, outsider.
All right. So it was like kind of on the hill. So I think you slam it down the hill, and it kind of like rolls down and hits into the trees.
Okay.
And then I think that probably Quinn, that probably knocks you too. Basically because you feel yourself like falling back into the tank and kind of being knocked around, and you kind of like
I feel like Quinn like kind of helps Quinn break out of the break.
Yeah. I mean, like you can't you can't really slap people, but you can help them kind of get out once they've experienced what they need to experience. So it kind of indeed it snaps them out of it. Quinn, what are you doing?
Well, I think my first question is Grayson.
No, I'm sorry. I mean Grayson.
Is Grayson on the tank? I just need to know.
I am like looking at Agatha while I'm saying it. But like you guys can't see where I'm looking, which makes it so difficult, because if you were all here, you just know, and you'd have your nice little table tents, which would make my life way easier. Grayson, what are you doing?
Actually, I think oh, well, I as a player am like really dedicated to helping Prince Tiger.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Grayson is going through right now. I feel like having only one will left is very seems very not potent. There's another P word that I can't think of right now. Whatever. It seems very like it's a very strong effect, and I think what I want to do is I would like to pin uh I would like to pin whatever was shot out of the Prince Tiger back into him,
Okay, it
that
kind of
animal form.
dissipated. Remember, it dissipated in the light of the moon.
Yeah. So what I would like to do is to just like put a little bit of that back into him. Maybe
Okay.
not it's not the full form.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, and I feel like this is some like magic shit. So
I
I
have a
really want
question
to
about this.
yeah,
With
go ahead.
if someone is shot with this bullet, with normally when someone is shot, there's blood splatter. There's like soul splatter that you could work with.
Right. And so that's the thing about like I'm not sure where the boundaries are for again, like I think this is what Linda was saying before. Like, so can I do that? Is that a thing that I can
Well, I mean,
do?
how would you do that? Like, how do you want to frame that? Like, for example, is your sword a needle that sews things up? You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing is like there's boundaries within what you have available to you. So like your talent, shadow self, slink into the shadows and become one with them, ain't gonna help you.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
death
Sorry. Yeah,
mark
I
going to
want
help
to use
you.
my sword.
Yeah.
And
So we
sure.
haven't defined that yet.
Yeah. Why
So like do you have like the anti thing to her thing? Can your sword imbue things where her sword empties things? Is this
I
going to
think
be
yeah, how I'm imagining this is that because I have twin swords, and I think I actually how I use them is I dance. And then when I dance, the my sword draws patterns. And I would like to draw, and it always seems ritualistic. So, the patterns that I draw, I would like them to like they're like weaving out something that probably looks really cool. But also I would like it to be a web to
okay.
catch whatever bits of this tiger soul question mark. Does that make sense?
Oh, a web. Sorry, I thought you said a weapon. A web
No, no,
like
no, a web.
okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
your swords weave webs. That's
yeah,
kind of how we would define them.
yeah.
All right. Cool. I I'm down. Yeah. So basically that's fine. Like when you first have your approach, they can be anything you want. And as I keep making you define things, it's going to get narrower and narrower, and you'll be
Mhm.
angrier and angrier, or you'll just learn how to use them better. But okay, so your swords weave webs, and you want to use this web to catch what fragments there are of Prince Tiger, and I don't know, smush them back onto him.
Yep. And I would like to argue that this is perhaps awareness.
Okay. Oh, because you need to like find the pieces. Is this what we're
Yeah,
arguing?
I need
Okay.
to be in tune with whatever different
Fair.
level.
No, because we talked about like this golden aura that he had, and then it kind of the aura being ripped and then like
Yeah,
poofing. So
yeah.
sure, I don't. Sure, I agree.
Cool, cool, cool. Thank goodness. Because if I lose another will, like I'm like out, right? I think if I have
Well,
0 will or
what
0
happens?
in the vitality. Sorry, go ahead.
No. What happens when you have zero will is actually there's another mechanic in the game that we don't have in the quick start, which is called stagnation. And basically, your character can gain stagnation to eventually lose the hope of finding their kind of end.
Hmm.
And when you have 3 points of stagnation, you become someone called the unrequited, and the unrequited are like kind of dark wanderers who have lost all hope of finding their path. And that happens every time your will gets to 0. You get a point of stagnation. And then your will pool basically goes back to 1, and then you can rest, and et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, I see. Okay.
But I saw a reaction, possibly to your roll, or?
No, I haven't rolled yet.
Oh, okay. Well, go ahead.
Okay. Ooh, that's 1 success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you
And
have?
I'm definitely gonna spend. How many do I need to succeed?
Well, you have 1 success. It was only 2. It was only a difficulty of 2, so you just need to spend 1.
Okay, I'll spend 1 lucidity.
Okay. This is what happens. You use your sword to weave a fine enough web to catch the pieces of Prince Tiger. At least what pieces you can. You catch one last remnant of this tiger, and you kind of fling it back on and over him. And as you do, you see kind of the faintest glimmer around his body. And when that happens, he grabs the diadem in. Oh, actually, what do you do with the diadem when you take out your swords?
Oh.
Did you pass it to him?
No.
I have it.
No, you gave it back to me, remember? When you were like, "Oh, I can't do this," after you were
yeah.
singing.
Hmm?
Yeah, so while I'm weaving, I think I tuck it like in my armpit.
So you start weaving your swords. He and you press. You see him shimmer for a second.
Mhm.
He grabs the diadem from under your arm, assuming you let him.
Probably, yeah.
And he holds it up and he lets out a roar. And with that roar, you see the sun rise over the horizon. And as the sun rises, all the people who once had a human shape, you see, are now all in animal form, except for Prince Tiger. He turns to you, and you see that he has cat eyes now, but his form isn't fully changed. Right. At this point, you guys you kind of break out of, because remember you were all reminiscing about this. You all kind of break out of it, and I guess I'm gonna oh yeah, well, you were the last one. Quinn, how did you all escape the wrath of
Oh,
Her Highness?
And I think Linda said that she wanted a moment or
Oh,
something.
sorry.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that like at the end of it, when like the sun rises and we see all the people sort of like returned maybe to a more powerful form where they're like more able to take on the darkness that's at the edge of this world. Quinn sort of like looks over at Grayson, and I think Quinn tells them like, "I'm sorry," and I think that's where the memory ends. Is with Quinn saying that they were sorry.
Oh, cool.
Hmm.
I like that.
I mean, I think that they got out of there. One of Quinn's death marks is that they can escape places.
Okay.
So I think that Quinn just like gathers, like finally gets to Echo and like slaps them across the face and just like, don't hit my tank, thanks, and like tosses them in the tank, and they all get out of there. And the tank can like, I think it can't go across the whole land, but it can go far enough to like get them away from danger.
Okay. Well, yeah.
That's
Once
how
you
they
get to the door of the limbo, basically, you guys can exit. So you exit back onto the sands, and then we rewind, or no, we fast forward to the present where you're all standing there and speaking. And I think this is actually a really good time for us to call a quick break. if anyone wants to get water, use the bathroom, etc., and we'll meet back in 10 minutes. Is that good for everyone? Cool. See you. Hello. I really liked Prince Tiger. I am also very convinced that this needs to be a limbo in the book now.
Which one?
Like the Everdark. I like the plot line that you guys had just randomly thought of. I'm like, what? That's so cool. Also because it's very creative. I really like it.
Well, feel free to use Quinn's sad backstory as an example.
They're
terrible.
I like it. It's a good backstory. It's so sad. It's also just like I like how these, at least what I've experienced in Afterlife is like, because you actually do a rolling character creation, and then you react to how. So basically, you roll. It happens in game, and you have a conversation with the boatman as you're going to the Tenebris from your life, basically. And he asks you all type of different questions, and you answer them. And then you roll dice to see the kind of memories you remember. And then based on how you reply, you get certain stats for your character. And then you kind of mold that into a backstory. So I always like hearing what people get and like the character that they have, and then like the kind of person that they apply to that character, because like things can be taken so differently. Like I had one person who ended up rolling a bunch of really dark memories, like I killed someone and like all these really bad things. Like I lost someone I loved. And they made it into kind of like a comedy of errors type thing of like I was just the wrong person at the wrong time type thing. And then I had someone else who had the same sort of character and just made this like such a tragic character. I was like, oh my goodness, like their first break like broke my heart. And I'm like, you're done. Now only happiness in your life. So yeah, I like to see what you did with Quinn.
Cool. Yeah, they're very
sad military people.
Yeah, I have a thing. Mostly because like I grew up in a military family, and like my whole family on both sides, like this blew my mind a couple weeks ago. I have lived a full like 28 years without like actually realizing this kind of concept, but like there are people out there who don't have family in the military. It blew my mind. It just like I was like, what? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like you. And I was like, what about like a cousin or like an uncle or like a grandparent? And they're just like, no, never. And I'm like, what? It just like didn't occur to me that could be possible.
Oh wow.
Until 2 or 3 months ago. Just wild.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, the things you don't realize, like the things you don't know till you know them, basically. That seem so normal to you, but then aren't normal to other people.
Yeah, and I always knew that like my family's like deep commitment, like weird level of service was always a thing. But it just like never clicked until like someone was like, yeah, and then they were like, actually, it's like a little weird that you have all this, and I was like, oh, it is weird. Yeah, so what could you do?
Yeah. Is everyone? Oh,
hello. Oh yeah, I'm good. I have a thing for like my sad military babies.
Cool. Yeah, because I realized that I was a little late, so I wasn't here for like tone discussion in the beginning. So I wasn't sure if I don't know.
No, and actually, it's very good that you bring this up, Agatha, because I did remember to have everyone describe their characters at the start, but I did not have. There's going to be one session where I remember to do all the things at the start. And I'm going to be so proud of myself. I'm going to like buy myself a fancy coffee the next day. But I don't want to negate that because it's actually very important. And I sincerely apologize to everyone that we didn't have this discussion. But indeed, that is to say that we are using the X card in this game. So if there's any content that you are uncomfortable with, please let me know, or pull the X card. And basically what will happen is we will stop the game. We will rewind to the point where the content started, and we will just restart the game. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to give any justifications. Just we'll just play. And it really, whatever you're uncomfortable with, I'm totally okay with. If there is something that you don't want addressed in the game, please let me know. You can either do that here or in the chat or email me quickly. I'll make sure my Gmail is open so I can see that. I'm also happy to go off live if you guys want to. But just so you know that, yes, that is what I wanted to say. Is everyone good? Cool. Just gonna make sure my Gmail's open. 1 second. Awesome. You guys will see Leia here. This is my dog. She is needy. She will be part of this game now until she deems the game unworthy, which could be at any moment. Yes, she's already leaving. Right. So the three of you are back in the Tenebris, reminiscing. And actually, what you now realize after you kind of break yourselves away from these memories within memories within memories is that you were actually telling this story to someone. You look down and you're all speaking to a small black snake who was about 2 feet long. And you remember that she had introduced herself as Carla. And I am so sorry. My dog is barking and I need to open the door for her. Please give me 1 moment. I'm so sorry about this. 1 moment. Wait. Oh, geez. Okay. I'm trying to.
So during the last session, the Lola and my character encountered a wall of snakes, and they all called themselves Carla. And we ended up rescuing one of them. That was
Wow.
Yeah.
This must be rescued Carla.
Yeah. So I'm really excited for Carla's return.
Okay,
Good.
sorry. I apologize about that. Yeah, so you're speaking to a small black snake named Carla. And Carla listens to your story, and she's nodding. She's nodding. She's like, yes, yes, that is a very interesting story. But please tell me, when will the one called Harper and Delaney return? She looks up at you.
That's a great question. I don't know. Only they will know. You know, time here is kind of iffy in the Tenebris.
Oh, but I needed their help, and time is of the essence, even though time is weird in the Tenebris. She looks up at you again.
Oh boy. Well, ooh, Quinn is just sort of like awkwardly shifting from foot to foot. They really don't want to volunteer.
And
So Quinn is definitely like just looking at Grace and Echo, and it's just like, oh,
So-
guys, that's rough, buddy, but maybe another time. It's kind of what Quinn wants to say, but they're not saying it. They're just.
I feel like Echo would say that it will return when they are most needed.
And basically, Carla kind of like looks between all of you and announces very proudly, "They are most needed." And then she looks around.
Ooh, Grayson, buddy.
So what do you need help with,
You can
Carla?
see your bleeding heart already. Oof.
She says, "Oh, well, thank you for asking, kind Grayson. Indeed, I do have a problem." And she explains a little bit that not too long ago, Harper and Delaney, your two crewmates, assisted her and her mother in retrieving Carla. And Carla was retrieved, but the problem was after Carla was retrieved, a part of her was left in the Tenebris. And now this is causing problems. And Carla says, and well, the wall isn't doing too well now. So my mother sent me to find the ones called Harper and Delaney so they may solve this problem.
And I'm like looking at the other two like, come on, we gotta help them, right?
Yeah, Echo kind of moves forward, and we are here to serve the better good.
Oh, you have a nice voice.
And I like elbow you. Echo, I'm like, really? Really?
And I say back in your own, like almost in your own voice, like, really?
Echo, jeez. Okay.
Quinn is
Quinn?
shaking their head and just muttering about sentimentality. It's just like, this is ridiculous. This is all absurd.
Yeah, where do we find this this part of Carla?
Well, I believe it is where she left it. I can show you. I can sense my sister if you would like.
Yes, that would be very useful because I can't sense your sister.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And at this point, Carla like starts slithering off across the sand. Are y'all gonna follow her?
I slow jog after her.
All right. And I mean,
poor Quinn.
Quinn like watches her two friends go and just like looks around, realizes they're alone again, and just sighs and follows after the dumb snake.
all right, you follow Carla for a very long time, to the point actually where day becomes night. And in this part of the Tenebris, there is kind of an ambient light where you're able to, almost as if there's a faint moonlight, so you're able to make out kind of the dunes in the distance, but not much more. Do you guys want to take a rest, or do you want to continue? Resting allows you to regain all your concept pools and one of your vitality pools.
Resting, please.
Rest.
All right. So you all take a rest for the night. Is anyone keeping watch or no?
Quinn will keep watch because they think that their partners are very soft. They also didn't lose anything last round, so.
Okay. So you stay up the entire night.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd actually like a stamina check from you because
Okay.
your body, you are basically kind of unaging unless your character starts aging because of memories and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you still need to like eat, sleep, poop,
Cool.
things like that.
It's all natural.
It's all natural. Yeah.
All right, so that's a stamina check.
Yeah.
So I use body. So that's my core is 2, so I roll 2, correct?
Yes.
I have a stamina of 0. Okay. Let me clear this.
Cool.
4 and a 6.
Tough as nails.
Hell
So-
yeah.
Quinn stays up the whole night with Carla. Carla's awake.
I
So
really love the image of like, sorry to interrupt. I really love the image of like Quinn, her or their sniper rifle. I imagine is very exaggerated in the Tenebris. Like it's bigger than it should be. And I can imagine them like using it kind of as a staff to like prop themselves up as they're keeping watch. And I like the idea of Carla like right around the muzzle of it as they're keeping watch the whole
yeah,
night.
definitely. Carla says she'll watch your back. She's got your back. Carla asks a lot of questions. You thought Echo asked a lot of questions, but Carla asks a lot of questions.
Oh my god, no. Oh no, poor Quinn.
I have this idea, like, I don't know if you've seen the videos of all of the like smart devices talking, where they're always there's a cycle of Alexa asking Siri. They just keep going around and around. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
that's Echo and Carla.
Yeah, so Carla just asks you a bunch of questions. Some of them are strangely insightful, as if she knows more about you than you may know about yourself. But most of them are, why does that thing grow on top of your head? And then you realize that she's talking about your hair, and why are there so many of them? And many other questions. And why do you choose to wear it that way when her mother wears it a different way? And what do all those buttons on your jacket mean after you teach her kind of the word for buttons? And like, you must be very special if you have 4 buttons, because you can't really make the difference between badges of honor or something like that and buttons. So you
oh my god. Quinn will beg for death again.
Wow, Quinn, wow. You all wake to the sound of soft chattering. And Carla wishes you all a good morning as the sun rises. Or, well, no, as the light becomes immediately bright. Basically, there's no sunrise. It just goes poof, bright, scorching Tenebris. All of a sudden, when you were chilly and freezing at night, all of a sudden, all your sweat kind of like, or like all the cold, nice clamminess just all of a sudden dries up, and you're now scorching hot. And Carla says, nice.
Yeah, I kick the blanket that I had, like I do every single day. I'm like, still sleeping.
Quinn looks over at them and is like, hey Carla, so there's this game I played when I was in the army where I put a snake in someone's sleeping bag. How do you
That
feel
was
about
nice
that?
of you.
Yeah. Do you want to do that with me?
Okay.
Okay. Quinn like picks Carla up and like puts Carla on Grayson's like leg, and Quinn like squats down and like whispers very softly like, go up her pants.
Ooh, a tunnel. And Carla like starts slithering up. As you like shake off the blanket, Grayson, you start to feel something kind of like slithering up your leg. Like it's a kind of halfway up your thigh at this point.
Yeah, and I think I'm not super awake yet. I don't even know what I would think that it is. I'm like, oh, why is it so cold? What? And then I like, what? And I kind of like sit up and I'm like, what?
At
And I
this,
like poke at it.
you poke at it. The thing like kind of shoots up. Do you wear a belt or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I wear a sash.
okay. So like shoots up kind of like, and you see like a little black thing like squitching through your stash and a little tongue like
And Quinn is dying over this. Quinn is just like chuckling to themselves. It's
I'm
like, is good joke, yes.
we'll talk.
Good joke.
Why is there a are you,
Snake and pants is a good
I'm
joke.
gonna reach down and just kind of like pull Carla up.
she looks at you. She's like, surprise, the good kind.
Good joke.
All
right.
Not don't believe everything that Quinn says.
Oh, but Quinn is a fierce warrior. You can see it by the buttons on her shirt.
4 whole buttons, Grayson.
That
and
doesn't
Quinn goes over and like
that doesn't
picks
mean
up
that
her
you should just
sniper rifle.
that doesn't mean that you should just believe them. That's not how it works. And I kind of like put Carla on my shoulder and I walk over to Echo. I don't know, Echo, are you awake already?
So Echo's just lying on the ground, reflecting the sun off. This probably this blinding light in a humanoid shape, and Echo's just sort of mutters like, "I'm not very important, for I lack buttons."
And I kick you very lightly on your legs, and I'm like, "Yo, get up, Echo."
Where are we going today?
I don't know. Carla will tell us. Here,
Yeah.
Carla, why don't you play the same game with Echo? And I kind of like drop Carla down slowly onto the ground, and then I walk back and finally start like rolling up my bedroll.
All right. I think because you're reflecting all this light, I think Carla, when she's placed on top of you, she probably just like curls up and is just like cheesed out because
Like a giant sunstone.
yeah, like it's a snake. So I think it's just like, like if you want Carla to go anywhere, Echo, you're probably gonna have to take her off your stop her reflecting.
So I feel like I kind of curl up to afford maximum sun exposure on her, like a sun shield.
Okay. And then Carla's just chilling, man. She's living her best life. Like,
yeah, and I'm like going through the motions of like wash my face with a little bit of water and then like wiping myself down. I'm like not fully awake yet. I'm kind of just like
like after messing around and like letting Carla have her moment in the fake sun reflecty person, basically you guys get going towards Carla's destination. You think about halfway through the day you arrive where you need to be. And what you arrive at is what were once giant sandy ruins in the Tenebris. Agatha, you'll remember these from the last session, though your character has no idea. And there's a giant building in the center of them, but you can barely see the building at this point, because completely encompassing this entire structure, and this is like the size of like a city block, I would say, like a New York block. Encompassing that is a giant thorny mass. And you, at this point, Carla stops and she says, yep, that's the problem.
Carla, are we supposed to take the plants back? Is that what we're supposed to do?
Oh, I learned some new words last night from Quinn.
Okay.
My sister bled last night. Or no, my sister bled a few days ago, and her blood is still in the earth, and her blood must be removed, or the wall will keep growing. But this wall is wrong, so you should remove it. Blood. I learned the word blood and warhead, and like she keeps going on and on, and murder and killing and suicide, but that's not the same as murder, but sometimes it is the same as murder. She keeps going on. Like really, she gets really dark. Carla gets dark very fast.
Quinn is just sort of nodding along, just like, yes. These are words I said.
And those mean humans try to murder my sister. She looks up at you, Quinn. Like,
yeah. Yes.
Great. Carla, why don't you stay with Echo?
Okay.
Echo will teach you like nature shit. And I like pass Carla over to you, Echo. I'm like, don't teach her nothing about fucking war or whatever.
Quinn looks over at Grace and is just like, do you have a problem with my education?
Yes, I do, Quinn. Let's keep going.
Quinn kind of rolls their eyes.
So Echo will like basically begin a conversation about the local geography and fauna and yeah, just PBS material.
Okay. Carla listens, and she asks very pointed questions. Like she seems to know strangely a lot about you guys and your states of being, or at least she has insight into that. But in terms of like the Tenebrous and basic information someone should have, she doesn't know. So she's very interested in what you're saying. She's a captive audience, and she asks very pointed questions.
And Echo would be responding and asking her about the Carla-ness and what's it like to be a Carla and all those great questions.
Cool. I mean, you do get the sense that it's awesome being a Carla.
Yeah, like I feel like the more time I spend with Carla, the more I take on Carla type traits.
Awesome. I approve of this, Echo.
So right. I know that Quinn wants to go up to this wall of thorns, and I think they want to inspect it and see if they can see any kind of crack or fault. What I'm trying to angle for here is like a use of their education from the war, going in here and trying to figure out like the structural, like how sound it is and like where they can get in.
Okay, that sounds cool. I like that. Why don't you make me a check? I am going to, as you roll, I'm going to go quickly close the door. I'll be right back.
Okay. Should I use education?
Yes, please.
All right, so that's 3. Ooh, yikes. All right, Quinn can't tell like shit from her own ass, so.
Reroll.
No,
What'd you roll?
Oh god, I rolled 3 fails. I rolled a 2, 2, and 3.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
A 2, 2, and 3?
Oh my god. Yeah, Quinn has no idea how thorns work.
No, I am going to argue that, are you using your pools or no?
Am I what?
Are you using any of your pools to change your roll or no?
Nope, not this time.
Cool. In that case, Quinn, as you're inspecting, excuse me, sorry. As you're inspecting the kind of wall of thorns, you do see, I mean, like just visually, like you're not all of a sudden blinded or something. You do see holes within the You see holes within the thorns that like possibly someone could crawl through. You don't know the best way. But as you're kind of inspecting, you get too close and you actually cut yourself on one of the thorns, because these, like when you get up, these thorns are massive. And you kind of hear Carla babbling in the back to Echo. Basically, like, that's not the way the wall of thorns meant to like, look. It's meant to look like a beautiful rose bush, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, you cut yourself on one of these giant thorns, like the size of my hand thorn.
Yeah.
And you realize as you look at your hand that you're not bleeding blood, but you kind of see these wispy tendrils start falling out of you. And you remember that picture that you were passed in your break? One of the things that's so clear in your mind is the boy's face, Irina's son's face. And as you start bleeding, you see basically the face for a second, and then all of a sudden you can't remember what the face looks like anymore. It's just this blank space as you kind of grab yourself for a second. And you lose a point of will, Quinn.
Oh boy. All right. And so that only affects like the vitality, right? That doesn't affect core concept.
No, it doesn't. So basically everything stems from your core and then is separate from it. So you don't have to worry. And of course you can regain will later. So
okay, so I think Quinn like is sort of like definitely like holding her hand close to her chest or their chest, and they like walk back. And I think that they sort of motion for like I think at this point, since Echo seems a little preoccupied with being a Carla and hanging out with Carla, sorry, dude. Quinn sort of like pulls Grayson aside. And it's just like sort of
what's up?
Whispers to her. And it's just like we should leave.
What happened? Are you okay?
If we that's not a place that should exist here, and we shouldn't be here.
Quinn, let me see your hand.
It's and like Quinn sort of turns away, but like doesn't like protest or anything.
Yeah.
If you wanted to.
Yeah. I will. I'm like, okay, Quinn isn't actually leaving. So then I like take whatever your hand that was cut and I look at it. And is it still kind of like having weird tendrils?
No, like it seems like this bleed, if you can like equate it to something, would be like a pretty severe paper cut. So she managed, like she is holding it, and it's kind of like you don't see it kind of the tendrils seeping out anymore.
I'm like puzzled for a moment because it seemed like Quinn was really upset about this, but then I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh, doesn't seem like a huge deal. And I'm like, okay. Yeah, but it's
Quinn like jerks their hand back.
Yeah, but if we don't fix this, it's just gonna get worse, right? I think that's what Carla said.
Carla doesn't know a lot about a lot of things. They could be wrong about this too. Look, unless you have something that can take care of this right now, I think we should leave.
I'm also like, is there anyone around?
Sorry. No, you don't see anyone around.
Oh, that's very ominous.
It is
okay.
Quiet. The only thing you hear is like kind of like the shuddering of vines, almost as if they're growing.
All right. I'm gonna try to break this wall so we can get through or whatever. Get that blood. Is what I say out loud, and I think I just like I see whatever like rock is around here because my swords are not weapons, so they're precious to me. I would never use them to cut to do something as basic as cutting vines. So I
No, they weave webs, man.
yeah. So I they're kind of basically like knitting needles. um, I pick up whatever large object, maybe a rock that's nearby, and I'm gonna just try to like heave it at this wall to try to make a way through.
Okay, so you're gonna just chuck a rock. Sounds good. Strength, I would argue.
Yeah, sounds right to me.
I mean, I think you probably like because like on the outskirts of the ruins, there's probably like broken off pieces of rubble. So you probably pick something one of that pieces off and just like chuck it through.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Ooh, I have one success, so I'm a spend one of my ferocity to get it up to 2.
Okay. You chuck a rock through, and like it's not a like the wall of thorns that has been created here. It's not like a net, but you do manage to chuck it kind of a ways into the mass of thorns. But you probably need to once you're in there get closer to the epicenter. You know, you didn't throw it like all the way through.
Okay.
But you broke apart some of them, and to the point where, like, basically the rock, the piece of rubble makes impact, and you see a couple of the thorns break, and actually the vines just kind of shudder and open a small path for you.
Great.
I'm not going through that.
Echo looks up and like, do I sense a doorway?
You see a doorway, or sorry, did you say that? Oh, sorry.
I'm just going with the whole idea of Echo wanting to go through doors.
Yup. This ominous thorn wall is opening up a doorway for us. Let's go through it.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea.
No, it sounds like a really terrible idea. Can we stop and like think about?
Echo, make sure you're tucking Carla in so that she doesn't get scratched or whatever.
Oh
Yes,
yeah,
please.
I'll say to Carla, remember those holes I talked about in the body?
Yes.
You can hide there.
Okay.
And then going to proceed towards the opening.
Great. And I walk with you, Grayson. No, Grayson is me. Echo. Through this doorway. I'm like, Quinn,
I don't like this.
you can stay outside, I guess, but
Oh, I don't like that even more. Guys, why do we have to keep going into things?
I mean, it's a door. Echo loves doors.
Yeah, well, maybe Echo should love something else. This is terrible. This is a terrible decision. So I think that Quinn watches them go for a bit. And I think that Quinn wants to like pull out her tank or their tank and see if like because they want to like be protected. Right?
Yeah.
And is there any way that they could is there any way they could like follow with their tank? Like will the like thorns open up to accommodate Phaser tank?
So you get in your tank. Echo walks through, Grayson walks through. You summon your tank. How do you summon your tank? Is it from a watch? I feel like we've established a lot about this tank, but I don't want to force it on you.
No, I don't think it's from a watch. I think it's from their heart. No, I think it's it's like one of their medals is a tank.
Okay.
Right?
Oh yeah.
Cool.
And they sort of just like pull the metal off, and the tank appears.
Awesome. And you pull the metal off, tank appears, you get in said tank, you drive said tank towards the wall. And
Slowly.
the wall opens to accommodate your tank.
Cool. I like that. So yeah, there's just like a walking mirror shield, and then a woman with two swords, and then a tank.
All right.
Quinn is very scared.
As you walk deeper into the thorny bush, it all seems to open for you. And what you notice, Quinn, pulling up the rear, is that the wall of thorn promptly closes behind you.
Of course it does. Like naturally. Yeah, Quinn is like so unsurprised by this, but they are at the very least comforted by the fact that like the way to get rid of the wall is inside the wall. So they just sort of like look out, look forward, look behind, see that happening, and then just like close the tank and go back in and just keep driving.
You're all about halfway through, and Echo, there at least the thorns have stopped opening for you. The vines have stopped opening. And you guys are surrounded on all sides by these thorns, and you hear kind of like the soft crackling from all around you. And very oddly, you know, Quinn, even from your tank, and even though it just makes really loud tank sound, insert loud tank sound here, you still manage to kind of like just at the back of your neck almost feel the crackling of the vines. What would y'all like to do? You're about halfway through towards the epicenter.
So Echo's going to be having this sort of subvocal conversation with Carla about what's going on in this environment, like almost like a nature documentary. Oh, and over here is this feature, and these are the feelings that I'm having right now.
All right. You start like, you know, saying how you feel about it and everything like that. And you know, you hear, I think probably echoing in the back of your throat, actually, you hear like,
Yeah, oh totally. I love that. I kind of like the idea of like the little tongue kind of seeing it whenever I'm speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And how I'm wondering how deep this is, or how it was created, or you know, or like, will we ever find the creator of this? Like getting into that whole like French existentialism type thing.
Okay, cool. I you know, Carla, you know, she's very positive about things. So she's overwhelmingly positive to your existential crisis. But what are you guys doing though? Because there's no, like, I mean, are you gonna just try to pick your way through the thorns? Are you gonna get in the tank and try to bulldoze your way through?
Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I'm just Quinn is just gonna like pop out of the tank and just be like, "All right, guys, get in. Everybody, get in tank.
It's like a sense of deja vu.
It's time."
I think what I do is I'm actually gonna try to find that I'm gonna weave a web to try to pick up the blood, because I don't want to wander blindly through here. This doesn't feel very safe.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Well, you haven't found the blood yet, so I don't know how you would pick it up. You know what I mean? Like with Prince Tiger, there was still like kind of an essence of him in the area. But now, like, you know what I mean? Like I don't see, like you guys don't see any blood around. So I don't really know how you would use your swords to pick that up.
Right. What I was hoping to do was to like weave a web and kind of like press it into the ground, and then so in that way try to like look through the area for it. But if that's like too much, then
Yeah, I mean, because I think that goes more into like searching. You know what I mean? Like that seems like a perception type power for like for it, and you don't really know where something is. Like, and so without knowing where a thing is, I think to use a web to catch something is very difficult, right? Like,
okay, sure, yeah. I was thinking of like the fishing kind of metaphor for it, but that's totally fine. We can someone else
or if you
can.
think like all the thorns are in your way as well, and you see them plunging into the ground. So, yeah.
Cool. Let's see.
Get in tank.
Do you get in the tank, Echo?
Yes, and commenting all about it, and like commenting on the tank and the mechanisms, like just this like weird documentary thing going on in the background. But yes,
Great.
and
I
then
am
yeah, and then also regarding whatever my companions are doing, commenting on that too.
great. No, this is very educational. I'm sure it's good for Carla. And I think what I'll do instead is I will step into the shadows, look at the soldier in her natural habitat.
I just hear it like I hear the like oh, I can't do the accent. I can't do the Australian accent, but I hear Steve Irwin's like voice in my mind, like, oh, what a beauty, you know? Like
Oh, was it David Attenborough or whoever?
oh
I
yeah.
have that in my head.
You're gonna slink into the shadows, you said?
Yeah,
Okay.
try to find a path through them instead of continuously trying to break things because it's kind of physically strenuous.
All right, I'm gonna let you go first, Grayson. Because like I like you know I'm like I kind of see it in my mind as Echo's climbing into the tank, you kind of slip away.
Mhm.
So are you just kind of like using the shadows to dodge through all the thorns to try to get out of their way?
Yeah, that seems right.
Yeah, and that at least that seems that seems logical to me.
Hmm.
That would be a dexterity check.
Okay, sounds good.
And you get a +1 from your talent.
Cool. Oh, wow. 4 successes.
Oh, okay. I actually want to wait to narrate yours until I hear what happens with the tank, actually, if you don't mind. Um, Team Tank, bulldozing.
Yeah. Yeah, so my idea is like when because like the whole idea of their bow is that they can like shoot things that make other things hollow and empty them. So I think that if it's possible, if like when Quinn is in their tank, the muzzle, the tank's gun is now the bow.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, so I think that Quinn would like to fire one of the like hollow missiles basically and see if that clears the way forward for them.
Okay. That sounds good. You can only get a bonus from your talent or your approach, so you're only going to get a +1 die to your check. But like, I love the visuals of that. It's very cool. And then, I mean, I would argue because you're trying to kind of find a way through. Like, it's probably like it takes nothing to actually pull a trigger, but I think you're probably trying to find the best way through. So I would say I would argue awareness, right?
Okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. And yeah, so that would be Cool. So I have a 0 awareness, but I have a 2 mind, and then I get a 1 extra for using my bow.
Yeah.
All right, so that's 3. And how many do I need to succeed?
2.
All right. All right, so I'm rolling 3d6.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is what happens.
Tell me what happens.
um, Grayson, you slink through the shadows, and you kind of hop from shadow to shadow, slinking through and finding your way to the center. And it happens very fast. You know what I mean? You're kind of like leaping. I imagine like, you know, those like anime shadow leaps. And I don't if anyone knows what I'm talking about, but it's like poof, poof, poof. Like that's what I imagine going from shadow to shadow. And you make it kind of to the epicenter where Carla said like she felt the blood. And when that happens, you hear like a boom, and and this time you actually do see things breaking. You see basically a missile kind of like firing past you, and actually I guess you don't really see a missile, but I think you just see like an empty hole kind of coming at you extremely fast. You know what I mean? It's like like right towards you. And you managed to dodge out of the way because everyone succeeded, no one failed, so I'm not going to make things get worse. You managed to dodge out of the way as basically like you look through the hole and you see like a tank at the end of it.
Great. Yep. And I turn around to like look for this blood.
Okay. So you guys drive the tank up, and you're looking for the blood, Grayson. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that's it. I was just like, and we all pop out, and I'm just like, should have gotten in the tank, buddy. But yeah, Quinn gets out, and Quinn like actually does help like Echo out. And it's just like you still have the snake.
Cool. Yeah. Like Carla is still in Echo.
Great. Yeah, Quinn like helps Echo down and like puts the tank back on her lapel, and it's just like. So I think finding blood might be finding like essences of a snake might be something you're probably going to be good at. And she's saying that they're saying this to Echo.
Oh, Echo, you're muted.
So Echo agrees, and I feel like at this point, opens its mouth and out pops Carla from the mouth, and Echo catches Carla in one of its arms and says, "We have bonded. I feel that we can follow the trail."
Yeah, great.
Carla seems positive about that.
I'm glad. I'm like, yeah, and like Quentin is just looking at the two of them like, I'm glad you guys feel good about that.
Yeah, I'm like, great, go do it.
All right.
Echo. Awareness.
Totally. All right. Let's do this. So I have, that's mind.
Yep. Plus
And I
awareness.
have an awareness
Oh,
of 2.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
have
I
a
have
good
5
dice.
dice.
Yeah.
Let's do this. All right.
The bigger dice pool they have, the harder they fall. No, I'm just kidding.
Totally. Let's see how many experience points I'm not going to get. Oh, yeah. 4 successes.
Darn.
6, 6, 6,
3
4.
sixes too. That's pretty good. All right,
See,
fourth.
have a snake live inside of you, and you'll be able to slither. I don't know. There's a metaphor there somewhere.
Quinn
To
is
teach a man
staring
how
at
to
them.
be a snake, and he snakes for a day. Have a snake live inside a man, and he snakes for a lifetime. I don't know. There we go. So you okay. I mean, how do you like? How does this look?
So
Does Echo take
yeah,
on
I
traits,
feel
right?
like Echo's tongue is now snake-like. You
Mm-hmm.
know, sniffs the air, and there's this sort of magical scent that it and Carla can follow. And I feel like sort of like instead of walking now, like he sort of like does this weird David Lynch sort of stroll, following after the scent of the blood.
All right. You follow the scent of the blood into the center of what was once a giant building. And here, actually, the thorns are less dense because you think at whatever's at the center, they're kind of like sprouting out and then falling down, so you're within that radius. Um, excuse me, sorry. You get to the center of the building and you see that all the vines are sprouting out of the back of a translucent figure, like hunched over a pool of blood. So basically, they're on their knees, and their face is covered basically with two hands, like in sorrow. And you see this giant vine shooting up from the pool of blood through this thing, like through this shadows, or like sort of through this wisp's body, and sprouting out through them and kind of ballooning out into the uh, the atmosphere. And as you guys enter the room, the figure actually stands up, and it stands up very painfully. You see kind of like these tendrily wisps ripping from the figure as it kind of like moves itself upwards, and it turns to all of you and it puts a finger over its mouth as if to say, be silent here. What would you like to do?
I think I'm like, and I kind of like sneak quietly, not sneak. I just like kind of go quietly over to this person.
Okay, so you walk silently up.
Yeah.
You see now that you've gotten closer, that it's a very ghost-like figure. It basically looks as if you're looking at someone, but you're only seeing the outlines of them. And you kind of have these wispy, these wispy tendrils making up their entire body. And you see when you get close that this, at one point, it was a person with the body of a man, and their face is completely twisted in anguish and in anger to the point where you even see it's like his neck basically has like these veins, these tendrily veins popping from them. And he doesn't move from his place as you walk up. You're about a meter away, I'm gonna say. So like if he reached out, he couldn't grab you yet. And he still has his finger over his mouth.
Okay.
Quinn has Quinn isn't moving or anything. Like they're not like following, but they have set up their gun. They're aiming at these two ghostly creatures. They really don't trust this at all, and they are like doing this with the intent that if something goes south, they are prepared to fire. Bless you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I had to sneeze, but I didn't. Oh no.
Oh no, it's trapped. It's trapped.
Does
I have
anyone
a
else want to
question.
do anything?
Yes.
Sorry,
Go ahead.
yes.
That's fine. I have this thing, a death mark with an infinity symbol memory
Mm-hmm.
that says, "I was in a city. I sought the darkest place."
Mm-hmm.
would I be able to invoke that in here?
Well, you can, like, the actual ability is to reduce a challenge you face by 1 with checks involving streetwise knowledge. So I don't know how that would work, but like, for example, if you're reminded of something, I would love to hear what your character's memory is.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of, since we're now in a city of sorts. So I
Please
feel
tell
like,
me.
yeah, so I feel like Echo like does, of course, mirrors the shushing gesture, and then you kind of see like in the mirror like eyes, like almost like a close-up view of like a projection of like a movie screen or something. And then you don't quite see, the angle's always um, not quite there, but someone who is um, sort of getting near something, getting near like the ocean. And then this person turns and someone who's getting near like a car, but not getting in it, getting near like someone reaches out their hand and not quite connecting, always like almost there. And then that moment sort of passes.
Hmm, that's interesting. Who is Echo? Okay, I like that. Very cool. Is anyone? Yeah. What are you guys gonna do though? Like you have all reacted. I appreciate your reactions. But
Yeah, I do I see blood on the ground?
yeah, you do. There's like a pool of blood at the man's feet.
I'm gonna try to just take it.
Okay. Are you now at this point? Are you actually gonna
Yeah.
weave the net and floop?
Yeah.
But then like less floopy and more takey. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I
Sounds
think
good.
I'm gonna weave it, and again I'm thinking of the same action that I was describing before where I press it into the ground and it kind of like ripples out in the light and then like but pulls in the blood. Hopefully, if it succeeds.
Yeah, no, fair. Like I think that makes sense here because you actually have the pool of blood to soak up. So like pressing it in makes sense to me. Um, let's see what type of check that would be though. I mean, I could argue awareness. Do you have a way you want to do it? Like, is there an approach you want to take that you've thought of, Grayson?
I think awareness seems fine.
Yeah, like I mean, I think that makes sense. Basically, like you're kind of stretching out the the yes, the net to grab
Yeah.
everything. Yes,
Yeah.
words. Go ahead.
Cool. 4. Okay, that's 3 successes.
Cool. You start to suck up the blood. It's gonna take some time. I'm sorry, Grayson. You always choose the checks that take some time, but you've successfully like soaked up a third of the blood, we'll say.
Okay.
Wink, wink, hint, hint. You've soaked up about a third of the blood, and you're doing that, and as you start to soak up the blood, you uh sorry, Echo and Grayson, oh no, Echo and Quinn, you see that the man kind of blinks for a second, and then all of a sudden his hands are on top of Grayson's head, almost like like in a halo.
Is it attacking?
Um, it's it has um it has her head.
So it's like it's holding her.
Help
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
I mean,
I think
I would argue it's a ghostly caress.
okay. How about like okay? I think that Quinn is not necessarily like a shoot first, ask questions later kind of person. Like I know it might seem like that, but like this place is weird, and I don't think that they necessarily just like want to shoot things. But I think they would I mean, they've already holstered their gun in the last like action or whatever, and I think that they're looking at down the sight at what's happening, and they would call out to Grayson, and they would be like, "Get Grayson, get away!"
Okay, I shout back. I can't. It's still. I'm in the middle of this. Can you just help me?
Grayson, what is one of your character's best? Like, what was your best friend's name? What was your childhood's best friend's name?
Come on, Quinn, you could have helped me. My best friend's name was Nina.
Nina. What was the best thing about Nina?
Nina is really sassy.
All right. You as you're standing there, like basically Quinn's calling for you to get away. You just how sometimes you just have a random memory of someone and it just kind of pops into your head and you kind of feel this warm laughter bubble up in your throat, remembering something sassy that Nina. No, wait, who was that? Who said that? What was her name again? And all of a sudden, you can't remember the name of your childhood best friend anymore.
I have a mechanical question about this.
Yeah.
So my question is that this was something that I guess, I mean, technically nothing mechanically is happening to my character, but my question is like, what is this the response of, right? Like, because I didn't. This is something that's happening to my character, but I was not able to respond to it. And I rolled success on my roll before. So how does that work?
So no, that's fine. So basically, you succeeded at pulling up the thing, and like so, the guy reached down and he didn't start sucking memories from you yet. Then like I kind of went to the group and I was like, hey, like what's going on? And Quinn yelled for you to get away. Nothing happened. So basically, as a GM, I just ramped up the scene slightly. So it's not a mechanical response; it's a GM response.
Okay, cool.
Quinn would like to pull that trigger now.
Okay. I mean, do you see something happening? I mean, like, do you react to this, Grayson?
I think yeah, well, I look like I was gonna laugh, and then I don't. And I'm like, huh. So I don't know if it really looks like anything terrible just happened, but I also am like, but I'm like also very clearly uncomfortable with this dude.
Okay. Quinn, is that enough for you?
Yeah. She didn't get away. And
you have a rifle, right? So you kind of have to look through like a kind of positioning thing to, as you do that, you look at the guy and you recognize the face that he's wearing. It's the face from the photo of the memory that you had. And all of a sudden you, at least while you're looking at the person, you remember the memory of the picture of Irina's son and what he looks like.
Yeah. Quinn is still pulling that trigger.
There, go ahead.
Quinn is one of those people who's like push sentimentality like entirely aside as much as they can. Okay. So what kind of check are you asking for?
Well, I mean, again, I think like would argue awareness, right? Like you know how to hold a gun and you're strong enough to hold it, right? You're a soldier, so like I think it's a perception check.
Okay, so awareness. I have 2 mind, and am I using my bow? So I have 3.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Neato.
Wait. So, but because you're hollowing this person, right? Sorry. Continue.
Yeah. Yes. the hollowing. What a terrible and like absolutely terrifying call for what Quinn is doing. All right. 3d6. Here we go. Yeah, a 1, a 4, and a 5.
Okay. You that's interesting. All right, you shoot the man. And he lets out a pained scream. It's a scream you don't recognize, but it's a scream that doesn't fit him. Maybe it's a more feminine scream, for example, or like with a woman's voice. But it seems to be a voice or like a scream that doesn't belong to him. And his hands are removed from Grayson for a moment, and Grayson, you're able to suck up another third of the blood basically during that time. At this point, though, he seems pretty angry, and what you all notice now is that the vines start to close in deeper and deeper. They're all starting to grow deeper around you, and you even feel yourself basically. I think you're probably the farthest away, Quinn. You feel yourself being pushed towards the center.
Echo.
Yeah, so I feel like because Echo is still narrating all this happening. Echo with Carla somewhere on his person is now narrating, moving to intervene. And let's see. I feel like because this person isn't really its own thing. It's taking memories from other people, whatnot.
Mhm.
It's kind of Echo feels a kinship in a way to this thing. It's just doing it differently.
Mhm.
I feel like what this thing is doing is kind of in a violation of that principle, though. It's sort of stealing. So Echo basically wants to confront it, wants to mirror its true form.
Okay.
And see if that will somehow shock it into stopping what it's doing.
Okay. How are you gonna figure out what its true form is, though? Like, are you just gonna try to form what
Well,
you
I feel
assume the man would look like, if not an outline, ghostly outline, or?
well, I feel like Echo's gonna like stand behind, like put its hands on its head, and actually, if possible, if it can't do it on itself, like force it to show its true form.
Okay. Um, yeah, like I mean, the thing is like I don't, because like I don't think your town would help with this. And your shield is kind of mirroring what you see. At least that's what we've established. And so you don't
Well,
see anything from this
yeah,
person yet. So
could I attempt to heal its soul?
um, yeah. I mean, you can try. You can always attempt.
Yeah. So, yeah, attempt to heal its broken soul that it seems to be drawing from others, what it doesn't have, like
Sure.
cure its
Yeah.
hunger.
Nope, that works for me.
Okay. All right. So I will attempt that.
I mean, it's probably an empathy, I would argue.
Probably.
Sorry.
Probably. No, that's fine. That's what I'm here for. Cause fun. All right. So let's go ahead and roll that. So I got a 3 and a 3.
Okay.
And I am willing to put in 2 generosity if that gets enough successes.
Yep. Yeah, it does. That's
Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
if I don't say, it's always 2, so
Okay.
I tell you at the end of our time playing. Um you you do what it did basically to Grayson. You put your hands around its head, and basically as the vines are closing in, you attempt to heal or like, to quell some type of, or maybe put some type of emotion in this thing, because it is just this hollow thing. And you actually end up imbuing a little bit of yourself into it.
Mm-hmm.
And like kind of the humanity in you, which I think is probably very weird because you very much see yourself as an it and an echo. But whatever humanity there is in you, it echoes through him. And for a moment, you see the briefest flash of the person that this figure once was, and that is, it blinks for a moment, and it looks around, and for a moment you feel the vines around you kind of stopping, and that's enough time for Grayson to soak up the rest of the vines. Sorry, the blood. And when that happens, what you see is that the color that came to the man's skin, it disappears, because you only give this for a moment, Echo.
Mm-hmm.
And as it disappears, you see all the vines that are around you guys start to like shrivel up and kind of dissipate. They all kind of fold in on themselves and shrivel up into these black sickly things. And then as they shrivel up, they kind of turn into ash, which floats away on the wind. And standing in front of you is just this empty husk of a man who is actually not standing anymore, just kneeling on the ground.
Great. I gather up the net, and I think it kind of like pulls into an orb shape, with whatever the liquid, the blood, kind of like swirling around in it. And I like take a one more look at this man, and then I walk. No, you're right beside me, Echo. So I stand up because I think my hand was on the ground, uh, and I stand up, and I kind of just give this orb to Carla.
Okay. The basically our Carla takes the orb, and she kind of wraps around it, and she as she wraps around it, you kind of see it, like she kind of slithers it a little bit onto her back, and it kind of balances there, and she says, "I will take this home."
You want us to take you back?
Oh yes, I'm very small, and the trip is very long.
Okay. You can go back in Echo's mouth, I guess.
Oh no, this is not a good idea. She looks at the orb. She says, "I will rest on its shoulder."
Great.
Yeah, I think at this point, Quinn is looking around, and they're trying to see if there's any changes in like the thorn wall.
Well, the thorn wall all shriveled up and dissipated, basically.
It did?
Yeah. So it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
The basically the only remnants of what the thorn wall was, are kind of ashy remains on the ruins.
Yeah. And I think that, all right, so I think that Quinn would look at Echo and just be like, well, if we're going to travel, we might as well do it in style. Take time.
Cool. All right.
Don't think.
If you guys take the tank, it takes you like half the time, so you manage to reach the limbo very quickly. And Carla kind of guides your way. When you arrive at the actual limbo, which is the Wall of Thorns, Carla, the entrance to the limbo is two giant metal gates covered in cast iron roses. And Carla basically says she takes the she takes the orb. She can take the orb from there. But what she offers you in return is that each of you guys can take one of the metal roses the from the gate. And what that actually is something we call in Afterlife a curiosa. And these are basically akin to magical items. So each rose will basically help you further along the line. When you would lose a point of will, you can negate that, and you can use it once. So you get that reward from Carla, and she thanks you, of course. And if no one has anything else, that is the end of our session.
Yay! Are we doing any kind of post wrap up or anything?
We can if we want. Oh yeah, this is the last session. Sorry, I was like, oh yeah, we're only playing 2 sessions. Yeah, we can. Is there anything unresolved between Echo? I mean, like, do you find out a little bit more about who you were?
That's a good question. I feel like that short flashback we had in the city makes Echo curious to consider looking for itself rather than always sort of thinking about others as much.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe there's a little journey in the future.
All right. And Quinn, I am looking at Linda, and I'm looking at the right person, Quinn. Quinn, when what finally makes, what is Quinn's kind of, do they get a change? What's the final point? What's the turning point for Quinn, or is there no turning point?
I don't think there's a turning point right now. I think Quinn is sort of really resolved that they don't really want to remember a lot of their past. I think that it's kind of a big burden for them, and I think that it's unlike the other 2 members of the group, they sort of carry their past on their shoulders in a really distinctive and clear ways. And I think that Quinn in particular doesn't necessarily want to remember a lot about who they are, what they did, because I think that they're slowly realizing that they might not have made the most human choices.
Okay. And Grayson, I mean, you have been kind of the heart, the person helping. Do you still feel like it's worth it? Do you still feel like it's worth helping people? Are you still grasping onto your will and your hope to continue?
Yeah, this is very interesting because I don't think I had a chance to explore any memories for Grayson. And I kind of want to say, because my memory death marks thing is that I found a gift from someone else I thought was lost, which is very interesting. I think it's I want to say that maybe this doesn't happen immediately, but it happens somewhere in after the events of this adventure where it's Grayson, it's something triggers her memory and she remembers I think it was one time when she pretty sure she just injured herself in some way and she doesn't remember the details of what that was because she doesn't actually know anything about herself. She injured herself and then she was probably pretty young and then she was trying not to cry and then someone hands her a handkerchief and she looks up and it's this person and she's like, thank you. And then that's the memory. But she doesn't remember who that person is. And I feel like this is the person. Yeah. This is how I'm interpreting.
I like that.
Someone else I thought was lost.
Oh. Okay. Very cool. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for playing Afterlife. I'm going to stop our broadcast now.